Hey guys, Kevin the Comic Doctor coming to you with a quick review of Star Wars The Acolyte. You know, I wasn't going to come on here and talk about this property, this show, but I had to. I had to. I haven't even seen the second episode yet. I don't know if I'm even going to watch the second episode. Because to be quite frankly, that first episode was just, there was too much going on here. It was so bad, so bad. And you know what? Yeah, it's not getting great reviews. There are some people out there that seem to like it. Great. I'm happy people are liking those that do like it. I'm so happy they do like it. But I think I'm at my wit's end, and I think the title of this is, or I think I added on my title, you know, so long Star Wars. I'm out. I'm gone. I'm done. And it's really sad for me because, guys, I've been a Star Wars fan since 1977. A lot of you guys have as well. I don't consider myself over the hill. I'm 52 years old as of right now. I'm probably the most the most secure I've been financially in my entire life. And why this company chooses to alienate me, one of their longest standing customers and fans, and others like me, at a time in our lives when we can afford to really enjoy Star Wars and share with our kids and our, I don't have grandkids yet, but I'm sure some of my compadres do. Why you'd want to do this, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that right now. I'm really just kind of upset about this. I let it percolate for a couple of days, and now I'm here to watch, or just to tell you what I think about it. And I mean, it's just bad. It's just bad. And I'm going to talk about just practical things why it's bad. I'm not even going to talk about politics. I'm not going to talk about woke, whatever. It's actually not that bad in that regard. Of course, there's some stuff going on here, but it's not even that terrible. It's just a couple of things that really just kind of bothered me. You know, if you guys watch me for any length of time, you know I'm also a big fan of Robert Meyer Burnett over at the Burnett Work, and he uses a word called verisimilitude. You know, is what I'm looking at feasible in the context in which we're, you know, in the story we're watching. And it was just so bad. This show lacks verisimilitude to the nth degree, and it's so sad. Now, I have the video queued up here. I actually borrowed this from the Critical Drinker. You can't see it's like his video that he actually has. I have no sound. I just want to get on here and show you so we can kind of go through it really quick. I'm going to zip through it really quick because I'm going to forget stuff, and I wanted to share with you what I think stood out really bad right off the bat. My wife might join in too because she wasn't too impressed with the show either. You know what's really sad is my kids don't want to watch Star Wars anymore. They're done with it. My son, he's 13. He's done. I don't want to watch it, Dad. He's lost absolute interest in Star Wars. A 13-year-old boy who, when I was a boy, that was who the main target audience was. He has zero interest in it. And my daughter totally gave up on it. And now I'm kind of giving up on it too. And it sucks. Let me go to that chat window. Here we go. Okay, so this is the opening scene. So, and guys, there's going to be spoilers here for sure. And this is going to be great. If you've watched this, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So it starts out okay, you know? I'm going to let it go. It's a really cool fight scene. You know, Carrie-Anne Moss is Jedi, is there. And, you know, she has this cool fight scene, which is actually kind of reminiscent of The Matrix a little bit, which is okay. I didn't mind that. At first I was like, well, a little too Matrixy. Again, this is coming from, let me fast forward that there. This is coming from the Critical Drinker. Whoa. Let me stop it right there. The problem with this fight scene is this. The biggest problem is Carrie-Anne Moss dies in the first 10 minutes of this. Now, whether this character stays dead for the entirety of the show, I don't know. She's killed with a little dagger. A little teeny-weeny dagger stabs her in the, you know, right about here, which I assume is the heart area. And she keels over and she dies. She dies. I guess she couldn't use her Jedi abilities to heal herself like Rey. I guess she wasn't exempt from the pain like those other characters in like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. What was her name? Reva, who was stabbed with a lightsaber through the abdomen twice, but survives, right? Or Sabine in the Ahsoka Tano show also gets impaled through the gut, no problem. Teeny-weeny little knife. Maybe, you know, like tiny little thing, the size of my pencil, not even the size of my pencil, goes into her chest and she keels over and dies. And by the way, I really dug Carrie-Anne Moss at this point. I was thinking, you know what, Carrie-Anne Moss, not bad. At first I was kind of like, not really digging her casting choice, but then I started really liking the casting choice. And then as she was fighting her, she was really cool and suave and quiet and calm. I liked it. She had this maturity about her. I dug it. Let's kill her off, a la, you know, a la Darth Maul. a good character. Let's kill them off really quick. So they did that with her. So that was the first that irked me. Let's keep going here. Let's kind of fast forward a bit. There was a couple of characters. This one, this chick right here. Where is she? Right. No, where did she go? Oh, come on. I'm sorry. I'm borrowing this from Critical Drinkers. It's not really good. So Carrie Ann Moss. There was this one character with the green Jedi, the bald green Jedi. She was over there a second ago. Where is she? Right there. That one. This lady. What's that? Who cast this character? This character was terrible. Stiff delivery. Terrible delivery, and her "May the Force be with you" was the most forced thing I ever saw. Couldn't stand her. She was terrible. She was very distracting. Hated that character. I also could not stand this dude here. Where is he? He's here somewhere. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have time to download this myself. Is he in here? Where is he? No. Yeah, this chick was terrible. Well, I'll tell you right now. It was the character known as Charlie Barnett's Yord Fandar. Yord Fandar, the Jedi Master that goes out looking for the main protagonist in this. He was terrible. He's the dude who's gone on television and on interviews talking about Anakin Skywalker blowing up the Death Star. That guy, that character is terrible. His hair is terrible. His design is terrible. He is terrible. I don't believe him at all. It's like, who's casting these shows? The dude is terrible. And listen, hey, I'm going to tell you, if I didn't know Star Wars, if I did not know Star Wars, and I'm an actor in Hollywood, and I'm cast in Star Wars, I think maybe I'd be so excited that I just got a gig in one of the biggest franchises of all time that I'd probably go back and watch some of the movies, read maybe a novel or two, or maybe read some of the comic books, and maybe acquaint myself with the mythology of Star Wars. Nope. I'm just going to pretend. The guy probably worked at Disneyland at one of the Galaxy's Edge, and that was his knowledge of Star Wars coming into this. He was just really bad. He was bad. Let's talk really quickly about the main character, May. Her name is Amandla Steinberg. I'll tell you right now, I didn't mind her. I didn't mind her as the she's a twin, right? The good twin and the bad twin. I haven't seen that trope before in Star Wars. Good twin, bad twin. When she's playing the good twin, she's not terrible. I don't mind her. But her as the bad twin, I had a real problem with that. I didn't like her. And I also didn't understand this. Those twins were separated when they were little kids, right? How come they both have the exact same haircut? They got the exact same hairdo. What's up with that? They don't know each other. They didn't know the one did not know the other one existed anymore. They thought that she was dead. So they had the exact same haircut. Like, that kind of stuff drives me crazy. I also didn't like the crash landing. Remember the crash landing? Was it Attack of the Clones or was it Revenge of the Sith? I think it was Revenge of the Sith. Remember that opening crash where Palpatine? Yeah, Revenge of the Sith, where Palpatine is being held captive by Count Dooku and Grievous, and then anyways, a huge crash landing with Ben Kenobi and Palpatine and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's this massive crash scene on Coruscant. It's massive. They spend the time to show the how desperate a situation they're in and how bad of an outcome this is probably going to be. In this particular show, they decide to have her falling through space, ready to re-enter this planet's atmosphere and crash land. And she's like freaking out. I can't control the ship. She grabs her seatbelts and she puts her seatbelts on. And not even 3 seconds later, they're landed and there's no problem. And I'm telling you, this director, what's her name? I don't even care about her name. I know who it is. I just forget her name now. I've seen interviews with her. I can't stand her. Absolutely can't stand her. What's her name? You know I'm talking. Headland. Leslie Headland. Screw you, Leslie Headland. You suck. You suck. I don't care. You can't direct, dude. You can't direct. That was terrible. That whole crash landing was absolutely stupid. But we're done. We're okay. Let's go. No buildup. No tension. No suspense. No nothing. Just, snap on that. Off we go. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. The other highlight of this first episode was, what's his name from Squid Game? Lee Jung Jae. He was good. I liked his energy, of course. I'm sure he's going to be in most of the series. I don't think I'm going to watch the rest. I think it's my personal strike against this. It was really bad, guys. It was really, really bad. I'm watching with every Star Wars property. I want to like it. I do. I go in. I get excited. I remember when Rogue One came out. I was so excited to see it, and I didn't leave the theater loving Rogue One. I didn't hate it. Now I look back, and it was actually not too bad. I had some issues with it, but it was probably one of the better properties better products they put out in the last several years. But this is just another failure for Disney Star Wars. Why don't you just give the fans what they want? Because the fans are probably right. And stop alienating your fan base. You're taking a property that's male-centric and you're force-feeding a female-centric storyline down our throat. It was toys for boys. It was a story for boys. Some girls liked it. Great. Come on aboard. But trying to change it the way they're changing it now, or have been over the last 4 or 5 series, is ridiculous. I have no problem with female protagonists, female lead characters, if they're good. None of these have been good. They've been bad. Bad. I know some guys are over here right now, and let's see what you guys are saying. Maybe you guys disagree. Maybe you guys like it. And again, if you like it, I celebrate that. Fantastic. It is really bad. It just looks bad. And there's more to it. I'm forgetting other things that the series did to irritate me. Okay. One other thing too. This story is taking place. I thought I saw 1,000 years before the time of Palpatine. Am I wrong? It's either 100 years or 1,000 years. I thought I saw 1,000 years when I was reading that opening intro there. My issue with that, if it's 1,000 years, why does it still seem like the Star Wars that we know? When Lucas went back and did the prequels, he wanted to show us a difference between that time period and the time period we were all used to in Star Wars proper. Well, if we're going back in time yet again, I need to see a differentiation from what we know. So if we're going back 100 years, it must be different than the droids will be different, the costumes should be different, everything should be different, the ships should be different. They don't look that different. They look the same to me. And I want to see a difference. So little things like that, that's art direction. That's, again, hey, director, Haley, whatever the hell your name is, Leslie, whatever your name is, do your job. You're in charge of everything. The whole big picture. The story stunk. The setting stunk. The art direction stunk. Hey, does it look pretty? Sure, it looks pretty. Let me go back to this. Let me go back to this opening thumbnail. Look at this. That's pretty. It looks nice, right? It looked great. It looks good in stills, but it's a cheap knockoff. It's not Star Wars. Disney, shame on you yet again for effing up another Star Wars property that, believe it or not, I was looking forward to, even though I knew you were going to let me down, because you let me down for a very long time. Did they not realize? Do you guys remember when The Mandalorian came out and Luke Skywalker came back? Do you remember, do they not go back, go on YouTube, it wasn't that long ago, and watch the videos of that character coming with his ship and doing what he did, and we didn't even see his face for the first, 7 minutes of his on-screen time, and when the anticipation we all had, waiting for our friend to finally be back. Did you not learn anything from that? Now I'm not saying we need all Luke Skywalker stories. In fact, I don't want all Luke Skywalker stories, but we want so much more than you're giving us. These stories, again, I'm not getting into the politics and the wokeness of it all, but they're politically driven. There's a lot of BS being dealt with here, and don't want to see it. All right, let's go to the chat here, because there are some people who are asking questions. I think Dave's one of the main ones here. Pop out chat. Let's see what you're saying, Dave. Hey, Lord Thoughts here. Dave says, how are you alienating? Always. RMB is the man. He sure is. And he did a video today saying he's not going to talk about things he doesn't like. I don't want to talk about, I want to come out here and celebrate Star Wars. I want to come out here and say how fantastic it was. It breaks my heart that I got to come out here and say how disappointed I am in this series. And, again, I don't think the person you hire to be in charge has to necessarily love Star Wars or be a Star Wars fan. But guess what? It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. And there are tons of people at your disposal, yet you choose to align yourself with people who want to use Star Wars for their own personal messaging system, which is not what Star Wars was there for. Sorry. Sorry, it's not. Eddie said, "Oh, Louis, should I do a Louis? Good to see you." And he says, "Yeah, they really did outdo them. Sorry, they really outdid themselves with this one. Or they sure did. It's horrible. It is." Barlord, "I reached indifference years ago. Sadly, the only entertainment it gives me is watching it burn." Listen, Barlord, I'm kind of the same as you. I've been indifferent for a long time as well, since that piece of garbage. Rise of Skywalker came out. That was just atrocious. And then everything Mandalorian was decent until the most recent season. So it's been mostly garbage in the last 3 years of Star Wars. It's been crap. So I have kind of resigned myself to that fact, but there's always that glimmer of hope when a show is coming out that, you know what, maybe it's going to be good. Maybe this one will finally show us going to a new place. You know, Bob Iger doing that speech saying we've been putting out too much content, not enough quality. You know, maybe he's finally, you know, snapping, you know, figuring things out. Get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. My God, they should have gotten rid of that woman years ago. She's not going in the direction. I just can't look. I just don't look. I was born in 1971, man. I was 6 years old when this movie came out. And now I'm at a point where I can really appreciate it. And I got the money to spend on stuff. I want to buy shirts. I want to buy toys or statues or go to the movie 10 times or take my kid and I have the ability to do that, to share this property. And you have just killed it for a generation. You really have, by alienating your core group of fans. And Nerdrotic nails it on the head every time when he says, "Why would you alienate your customers like that? If you go to a restaurant, they treat you like shit. You're not going to go back there anymore. You're going to go somewhere else." And that's kind of what's happening here. And I can't understand why they'd want to alienate. So you want to sell this product to 7-year-old girls, it sounds like. Okay, sure. 7-year-old girls don't have, you know, have money to spend on your products and to spend on your property. We do. And we want to give you this money. But you don't want our money. Our money's not good enough for you. You have other ideas. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's a terrible, terrible business idea, going straight back to when Lucas handed it over and they tossed his idea in the garbage. First, they should have done was embrace George Lucas and bring him into the fold. He did listen to everything he said, but having his seal of approval would have been a lot better than not. Again, my opinion on that. Eddie says, "Same here, Lord." Yep. Barlord, bait and switch with the actor. Oh, you're talking about with the what's her name, Carrie-Anne Moss? It probably looks like it was. I see too much bait and switching going on in general. It always happens. Eddie, I'd love the day to come when my predictions are wrong. Dave says, "The show is called The Acolyte. It's going to be a Sith focus. I'm sad that she died so fast, too. The Acolyte is going to kill the 4 Jedi that she hold responsible for her planet." Sure. Okay. That's what they're saying. Kill off 4 other Jedi. Why would you kill off Carrie-Anne Moss? And I have not loved Carrie-Anne Moss in a lot of the things she's done in recent years. She was in, I think, Iron Fist. Didn't care for her in that. But this is the first thing I've seen her in, which is kind of strange. I always thought that Keanu Reeves would be a fantastic addition to Star Wars as a Jedi or a Dark Lord, whatever. And they brought Carrie-Anne Moss in. And again, that first fight scene was pretty cool. But again, if you're going to kill her, cut her head off with that lightsaber. What are you doing poking her? Let's poke her with a stick. Let's poke her with a stick. That'll kill her. Didn't kill Reva when you stabbed her through the gut twice. Once as a little child and once as an adult with a lightsaber. And it didn't kill Sabine when you stabbed her in the gut again in the other show, the other piece of hooey show. Terrible. She's boring. Twins are connected on weird levels. Return of the Sith. That's the one. We are still flying half a ship. Yeah, exactly. Right. Directors aren't the writers. No, they're not the writers. Directors are not the writers, but directors are the ones that are in charge. Right. They have, if they don't like what they're seeing, hey, writer, fix this. I don't like this. The director, as far as I understand it, has the final say on everything. The director's in charge of the works. Yes, you've got cinematographers. Yes, you have art directors. Yes, you've got costume people. Yes, you have lighting people. They're all under, they're all under the umbrella, or they're all under the I guess not the control. Yeah, I guess the control of the director. It's their vision that they're seeing up there. If something is not sounding right, if the writing stinks, holy shit, the director maybe should pick up on that and say, we need to fix this up. This doesn't make any sense. Let's fix this, right? But they didn't. And the director didn't even think about that. That crash landing. And I understand it's a TV show, but that crash landing was really so anticlimactic and useless. And Why have her crash land? Put her in a pod. Have a third pod and have her land with a third pod. What's the point of having her crash that damn ship and survive it? It was stupid. It was stupid. He's like Qui-Gon, it gets better. No, it gets worse too. The fans weren't Empire Strikes Back on a loop. 100. It was 100 years. I thought I saw it said 1,000 years, but okay. High Republic, the height of the Jedi. Mike Evans, yeah, it's rough. See, Mike, there, I'm with you on that one. You don't like the droids flying the ship that converted into the seats. That was kind of cool. I like the droids turning into seats. That was actually kind of neat, actually. Right? I like that. Did not, again, talking about design, did not like the dreads that the twins had. Again, it was stupid that they had the exact same haircut, yet they grew up in different worlds. Okay, that's quite the coincidence. Didn't like that design. I didn't like that design. Again, that's a costuming thing, right? It's a makeup thing. Didn't like that. Someone had to design that. Someone said, listen, everything you see on screen is there for a reason, right? And when you see things that look off or out, that's laziness. It could be writing, but it could also, the directors have the eye. The directors don't have the eye. You need an eye. The eye must be there. And she doesn't have the eye. So buzz off. Things could always be improved. Watch the Riley Patterson cut of Obi. I have not watched. I heard it was pretty good. But that was Riley Peterson's cut of Obi-Wan, right? Why wasn't it cut properly to begin with? Why would they put out that show the way it was? You know? Why? They say they have test audiences. Who are in these test audiences? I'd like to know. I don't know. I'm a director of live theater. I've done this for 15, 20 years. I've done many plays. Yeah, I'm just a high school drama teacher, but I've done it. But it needs to be right. It's got to be perfect. Or I'm a taskmaster for that sort of thing. I sit back and I rehearse and I rehearse and I rehearse and I watch it. If something's not right, and I bring other people in to critique, people I trust and respect, of course, to critique it. If they don't agree with something, they tell me, and then we dialogue, and then maybe I fix it, maybe I don't. But at least it's brought up. These people, is anybody questioning them on what they're doing? Sell it back to George. I don't think George will take it back. I think George would take it back for $2 billion. Again, I always thought Star Wars being sold to Disney was going to be a good thing. It's been terrible. It's been an absolute travesty. And the biggest travesty we didn't see our original characters in one last adventure. No, actually, forget the adventure. We didn't even see them on screen together to share a quick dialogue, for crying out loud. None of that. Revenge of the Sith was bad. It was. I didn't care for that either. Convenience after convenience. Yeah, exactly. Gord Henderson, Star Wars was a big part of my early life, and it feels recently that part of me has turned ice cold as it has lost something. Gord, I feel with that exact. That's why I'm talking today, because it's just, it's so sad. And you know what? I have this playlist, this, a Star Wars playlist. I've done nothing for it. I've not been on here talking about Star Wars, and perhaps I will come on here and talk more positively about items from Star Wars' past that are worth talking about. But this certainly is not. God bless Irving Kirshner. The despecialized editions are all we need, and I prefer those too. He passed away. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, he did pass away. So guys, look, I think a lot of us are on the same page. It's a real sad day for Star Wars, in my opinion. I haven't been to Florida. I've been to Florida and I've been to California, and both times Galaxy's Edge has been built, and I won't even go. I have no interest in going there anymore. I have no interest in spending money on Star Wars anymore. Will I watch the rest of the Acolyte? I'm a glutton for punishment. Maybe I will, but I don't feel any urgency to do so. I saw episode 1 and turned it off. My wife and I are watching Hacks on Crave, and I chose to watch the Hacks last night over the second episode of this dribble. So, I mean, if there's nothing else on, maybe I'll turn on and watch and see what happens. But it's really, again, disheartening. And then you get a character, you get an actor like Carrie Ann Moss, and they blow it. They blow it yet again. Hate watch. Yeah, I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to hate watch Star Wars. I don't want to hate watch Star Wars. Like, I'll bring Robert Meyer Burnett up again. Like, he talks very passionately about his Star Trek and how he feels it's been bastardized over the last several years since I think was it 2009? I think since the new Star Trek came out, the J.J. Abrams years, you know, and you know, he's he tries to love it. I'm sure he does. He doesn't want to see his beloved Star Trek depicted or delivered in the way it's being delivered. And I feel the same way about Star Wars. I'm probably not articulating it as well as he could, but it's just very disheartening to see this. And again, this show is a great example of lazy writing, convenience, as you just said, convenience writing, throwing characters in to just kind of be there to serve a political purpose sometimes, which is really irritating, you know. And boy, were there a lot of human Jedis in that room, little Padawans, you know. Discovery, thank God it was canceled. Yeah, 2009. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm really, again, disheartened by this. I think this is it for me in Star Wars. I am not going to be looking for Star Wars. I am not going to be looking forward to Star Wars anymore. I think that looking forward, in fact, I almost didn't even watch this, to be honest, but because Carrie-Anne Moss is in it, and because that dude from Squid Games was in it, I saw a clip with him and I really liked, I want to try it out. But again, these one-dimensional shitty characters, and even that Sith Lord she was talking to at the end of the first episode just sounded so ridiculous. Just, ugh. Star Wars was made for kids. We're not kids. Oh, I heard that from George Lucas, Dave. You know what? Star Wars was not made for kids. And there are things about Star Wars that irritate me, like even in the Empire, even in the best one of all, The Empire Strikes Back, the dialogue between between Han and Leia, after Luke has recovered from the Wampa and they're sitting there and, you know, laugh it up, fuzzball. Some of that dialogue was really, ooh. Even as a kid, as an 11-year-old kid, it was like, ooh, I don't like that dialogue. Laugh it up, fuzzball. See, I didn't like that. That's Empire Strikes Back. So even as a kid, there were some things about Star Wars I didn't like. But you know what? Maybe he made it for kids, but there was a certain sensibility to Star Wars, I feel, and even especially the Empire Strikes Back, that there was a maturity to it. They didn't treat us kids as idiots. There was definitely maturity there, and I appreciated that as a kid. I did not need to be pandered to as a kid because I was a kid. I could handle sometimes adult themes, you know, even at the age of 9 or 10. And this is just bad writing. Bad writing. Every new Star Wars since the original 3 received hate, and 10 years later, it's loved. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of love for the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones now and all that stuff. I watch, you know, Revenge of the Sith, and I see what's his face, Hayden Christensen. He's terrible. He's terrible in that movie. He's a terrible actor. Good looking guy, terrible actor. Especially in that role. Bad choice again. But that was George Lucas, right? I mean, I don't think I hated those movies back then. I didn't love them though. They weren't as beloved to me as the originals were. But it had the chef's kiss. It had George Lucas's touch in there, you know, and it was still his. And even though to be honest, I think those movies were made more for kids than the original ones. I think he had kids more in mind for the prequels than he did for Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. I think by Return of the Jedi, then I think he started thinking more along those lines. I think Star Wars and Empire, there's a certain maturity to it. That's why people love those movies so much, even kids. Return of the Jedi, which, by the way, I love Return of the Jedi. There are, you know, the Ewoks are a good example of this. He starts thinking, what are kids going to want to buy? What are we going to sell? And and you know as well as I do, if you were alive at the time, how big the Ewoks were, the cartoons and the plushies and the whole 9 yards. It was a marketing bonanza, right? It was a frenzy. So I think George, you know, at that point, then going back to Phantom Menace and the others, yeah, you know, like those stupid droids, Roger, and things like, and that was very childish. And I feel the prequels and Return of the Jedi are more akin to what you were saying there about made for kids. I don't know if Star Wars and Empire were. They had themes and archetypal characters that kids could relate to and understand. But again, I didn't find they were talking down to me. Like, I can watch Star Wars now. I show Star Wars to my film class, and I don't think anyone's ever said, "Oh, it's such a childish film. It's for kids." Never have I heard an 18-year-old student tell me that. They may not like it because it's science, it's science fantasy. It's not their cup of tea. But no one ever said it's a kid's movie. I've never heard that from any of my students, not once. So, yeah. But watch Phantom Menace, and you may get a different reaction, I think. So I do agree, but I kind of, I think it morphed more into a made for kids later. And then George started saying that later when us adults were bashing the prequels, then he started saying that they're made for kids. That's when he started saying that the most. You didn't hear him saying that in earlier interviews. He that was almost a defense against the attack he was getting for the prequels. Well, they're made for kids. That's why you don't like them anymore. I was at the store buying the toys, dude. So I am a big kid. I will give it to Discovery, folks. They got paid. They sure did. Every new Star Wars, we said that already. I have not met one of those yet. It will be fun when I do. Oh, really? There was aliens. Yeah, not many though. Like 2 or 3 to like 20. That could be a budgetary thing. RMB said it best: bad movies, but good Star Wars. Yeah. It was cutting edge in the originals. We had to use our imagination before, and my imagination was shit. Oh, it's frustrating, guys. He said people hated R2 in the first one. Really? Who would have hated R2? I loved R2 and 3PO. R2 and 3PO were great. My favorite exchange with R2 and 3PO were in when they first meet Luke and when they get to Tatooine. That first introduction to those droids is hilarious. And I always love the line where Luke leaves them, and after he didn't show him the holographic mission again, the vision, that the holographic image that was put in R2, he stopped playing it for Luke, and then Luke leaves, and then R2 is like beep 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 beep, and he's like, "No, I don't think he likes you. I don't like you either." you just rethink showing him that image. "No, I don't think he likes you. I don't like you either." Those types. I love that kind. The dialogue was great, and I don't know who wouldn't have liked those characters. I love them. We need us all Sith. I'll take it. All Sith origin movie, sure. Dave Bazan, R2 and 3PO grew on me as I got older. Again, I did not mind them at all. I liked all the characters in the original Star Wars movie. The only critique I have for Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back was some of the cringy dialogue and The Empire Strikes Back. But there was so much going on in that movie that was so good that I can look past it. You know what I mean? But some of that cringy dialogue, once we got past the cringy dialogue, the romance between Han and Leia was great. The drama between Vader and Luke was great. The introduction of Lando Calrissian and betraying his old time friend was great. Boba Fett was in there too. It was a great movie. Jedi, I like Jedi too. There's a lot of good stuff going on in Jedi also. And I did not hate the Ewoks, even though I was like going into grade 7 or grade 8. The Ewoks were kind of corny, I guess, but I did not hate them. But then when I found out it was supposed to be a planet of Wookiees, and I got pretty upset, and I'm thinking, wow, again, that's the sensibility of George Lucas. A planet of Wookiees or a planet of Ewoks? Stuffed animals or these big gorilla creatures? What's going to sell more toys? Ewoks, right? And he went down that road. Hey, Lucas made his money on Star Wars from the marketing, from the ancillaries and the toys and the gimmicky and the T-shirts and lunch boxes, all that stuff. That's where he made his money. That's what built Lucasfilm, right? Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. I've had enough. I don't want to talk anymore, but I'm very depressed. I do hope that I hope you do like it. I hope you do like it. But as someone who's been into this stuff since 70, again, I saw Star Wars in 78. I always thought I saw it in 77, but I did see it in probably April or May of 78. Because the following Christmas, I was spoiled with Star Wars toys, and there were no Star Wars toys in 77. So it would have been 78. But I've been with, Star Wars for a very long time. And when Disney picked it up, I was very happy because I thought this is the company that's gonna I should have known they were going to beat a dead horse and go back to the well over and over and over again. But I was kind of excited about that. But I would have thought the quality would have been far better. And I would have thought that the respect for the fans would have been a lot better. But, you know, we are at a really strange time in our culture, right? What's happening out there. And, you know, people are using these characters and these stories to tell their own personal stories, which I think unfortunately is not what these characters were meant to do. Again, I'll bring up Robert Meyer Burnett one more time. I don't think Rob's going to watch this, but he always says something about what I liked about the Star Trek thing. He always talked about. He said that in Star Trek, when you used to watch Star Trek and you see Captain Kirk or Mr. Spock or whoever, you aspired to be like these people. These are people. These are not perfect people, but very highly intelligent people and highly capable people. And after watching a Star Trek television show or film, you are amazed that these people can get to these levels, and that you would only aspire, coming out of a movie like that, you would aspire to be like them. But new Star Trek are showing characters that are just like you and me. Characters that have like Spock has now got dyslexia. Like, okay, they're talking about transgenderism in the 24th century, like 25th century. What are they really? Are they going to really talk about that in 400 years, 500 years? Is that really going to be a thing? Is that going to define people at that time in our future? It's just what these shows are concerning themselves with is not science fiction anymore. It's almost like therapy. It's therapy for today's audiences, and that's not what good science fiction is. And I feel Star Wars, unfortunately, is kind of, and with Star Trek, they're trying to be more, more action adventure. They're trying to be more Star Wars, but Star Trek is not Star Wars, right? So that's a problem. And then these Star Wars shows we're getting now, again, unfortunately, are falling victim to writers and directors and producers who want to include more people, which is great. Nothing wrong with including more people, different types of people from different walks of life and different ethnicities and different whatever. That's fantastic. I have no problem with that. But when it becomes so obviously, what's the word I'm looking for? Paramount in the story, when that it supersedes the story being told, then it's going to suffer. It's all going to suffer, and that's what's happening here. So we're unfortunately at a bad time in Star Wars. Unfortunately, someone needs to force choke Mickey once and for all. Thank goodness the Bad Batch. Otherwise, there'd be nothing worth watching. I watched the first 3 seasons or 2 seasons of Bad Batch. I didn't mind it. It was okay. I fell off. It didn't have enough to grab me to bring me back. I didn't care. That's the problem. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to get off the stream to go and see Acolyte episode 2. I really don't care. I might see it in a week or 2. Whatever. So, and then Dave, thank you. Sorry for your loss. How's the eye? The eye is doing actually much better. I still get a little dizzy in the afternoon, but yeah, I was at my son's baseball game yesterday, and for the last 30 years, if I'm out in the dark and I see a street light, I'll see 2 street lights. I'll see the street light, and then about a few inches over, I'll see a fuzzy street light because I had double vision. I've gotten used to it. For years and years. I was watching the baseball game yesterday and looking at the baseball diamond lights when the sun went down, and I'm like, what? There was no double vision. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I think it's on the mend. Thanks for asking, Dave. And Dave, I know you were supposed to come and see me this weekend. Dave, I think it was you. I'm going to give you a call in just a minute, actually. I'm going to call you up. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Hear me blather on about Star Wars. I'll come on here and do more Star Wars talks, but I won't talk about, well, I probably will complain about some of the stuff that's going on in Star Wars, but I'll talk about some of the fun stuff too. Some of the stuff we remember. Maybe I'll bring some of my toys down and talk about the toys I collected as a kid and some of my favorite toys that I had as a child. I still buy the toys. I'm not joking. I can prove it to you. Watch this. I'll be right back. Yeah, like I'm still buying things, right? Now these are Droids toys. I didn't buy Droids toys. By this point, this is 1985, I believe. I was in grade 9 at this point, so I wasn't buying Star Wars toys. I wish I was buying Star Wars toys in grade 9. I would have probably got them for $1 or 50 cents because they were probably in liquidation, but I just didn't care. But now, yeah, I'm picking up lines that I did not collect. I'm a fan. And I'm a collector. We discussed collecting and being a collector and addictions and all that on my last unboxing. So yeah, I'm right down there with you guys. That'll be for great videos. Yeah, I'm going to try that, Gord. Guys, have a great night. I'll be back on Tuesday. More boxes have arrived. I'll be back Tuesday with other unboxing right here on the channel. If you're new here, guys, hit that subscribe button. Hear me if you want to hear me complain about Star Wars in the future. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and thanks a lot. Have a great night, and see you again very, very soon right here on the Comic Doctor YouTube channel. Bye for now.